Hey everybody, I'm back. I took a little break yesterday because my voice was really tired, but I am back with the next chapter. Right, so Sophie just learned that the BFG is not going to eat her, and that he is a friendly giant, and so they were just kind of talking about giant country, and the conversation continues in the chapter called The Giants. "But if you're so nice and friendly," Sophie said, "then why did you snatch me from my bed and run away with me?" "Because you saw me," the big friendly giant answered. "If anyone is ever seeing a giant, he or she must be taken away hip switch." "Why?" asked Sophie. "Well, first of all," said the BFG, "human beings is not really believing in giants, is they? Human beings is not thinking we exist." "I do," Sophie said. "Ah, but that is only because you have seen me. I cannot allow anyone, even little girls, to be seeing me and staying at home. The first thing you would be doing, you would be scuttling around, yodeling the news that you were actually seeing a giant. And then a great giant hunt, a mighty giant look-see would be starting up all over the world, with the human beings all rummaging for the great giant you saw, getting wildly excited. People would be coming rushing and bushing after me with goodness knows what. They would be catching me, locking me in a cage. They'd be putting me in a zoo or the bunkum house with all those squiggling hippo dumplings and crocodile dillies." Sophie knew that what the giant said was true. If any person reported actually seeing a giant haunting the streets of a town at night, there would most certainly be a terrific hullabaloo across the world. "I will bet you," the BFG went on, "that you would have been splashing the news all over the wonky world, wouldn't you, if I hadn't wiggled you away?" "I suppose I would," Sophie said. "And that would never do," said the BFG. "So what happens now?" "If you do go back, you will be telling the world," said the BFG. "Most likely on the telly bunkum box and the radio squeaker. So you will just have to be staying here with me for the rest of your life." "Oh, no!" "Oh, yes," said the BFG. "But I am warning you. Do not ever go whiffling about out of this cave without eyes with you, or you will be coming to an mucky end. I is showing you now who is going to eat you up if they is ever catching even one little tiny glimpse of you." The big friendly giant picked Sophie off the table and carried her to the cave entrance. He rolled the huge stone to one side and said, "Peep out over there, little girl, and tell me what you is seeing." Sophie, sitting on the BFG's hand, peeped out of the cave. The sun was up now and shining fiery hot over the great yellow wasteland with its blue rocks and dead trees. "Is you seeing them?" the BFG asked. Sophie, squinting through the glare of the sun, saw several tremendous tall figures moving among the rocks about 500 yards away. 3 or 4 others were sitting quite motionless on the rocks themselves. "This is giant country," the BFG said. "Those is all giants, every single one." It was a brain-boggling sight. The giants were all naked except for some sort of short skirt around their waists, and their skin was burnt by the sun. But it was the sheer size of them that boggled Sophie's brain most of all. They were simply colossal, far taller and wider than the big friendly giant upon whose hand she was now sitting. And oh, how ugly they were! All of them had long arms and feet. They were too far away for their faces to be seen clearly, and perhaps that was a good thing. "What on earth are they doing?" Sophie asked. "Nothing," said the BFG. "They's just moochling and foochling around, waiting for the night to come. Then they will be galloping off to places where people is living for their suppers." "Like Turkey?" Sophie said. "Bone-crunching giant will be traveling to Turkey, but the others will be whiffling off to all sorts of flung-away places, like Wellington for the boot flavor, Panama for the hattie taste, Every giant is having his own favorite hunting ground." "Do they ever go to England?" Sophie asked. "Often," said the BFG. "They say English is tasting ever so wonderfully of crod-scallop." "I'm not sure I know what that means," Sophie said. "Meanings is not important," said the BFG. "I cannot be right all the time. Quite often I is left instead of right." "And are all those beastly giants over there really going off again tonight? To eat people?" "All of them is guzzling human beings every night," the BFG answered. "All of them excepting me. That is why you will come to an ucky-mucky end if any of them should ever be getting their gogglers on you. You would be swallowed up like a piece of frumpkin pie, all in one dollop." "But eating people is horrible," Sophie cried. "It's frightful. Why doesn't someone stop them?" "And who, please, is going to be stopping them?" asked the BFG. "Couldn't you?" "Never in a pig's whistle," cried the BFG. "All those man-eating giants is enormous and very fierce. They is at least 2 times my wideness and double my royal highness." "Twice as high as you?" "Easily that. You is seeing them in the distance, but wait till you get them close up. Those giants is all at least 50 feet tall, with huge muscles and cockles alive-o. I is the titchy one. I is the runt. 24 feet is puddle nuts in giant country." "Oh, you mustn't feel bad about it," Sophie said. "I think you're just great. Why, even your toes must be as big as sausages." "Bigger," said the BFG, looking pleased. "They as big as bumplehammers." "How many giants are out there?" Sophie asked. 9 altogether." "That means," Sophie said, "that somewhere in the world, every single night, 9 wretched people get carried and eaten alive?" "It all depends, you see, on how big the human beings is." "And if you were to put me down on the ground, and I were to walk among them now, they would really eat me up?" "Like a whiff-swiddle," cried the BFG. "And what is more, you was so small they wouldn't even have to chew. The first one to be seeing you would pick you up in his fingers and let you go down like drain water." "Let's go back inside," Sophie said. "I hate even watching them." Right? I'll make another video for the next chapter, The Marvelous Ears. All right, until then.